Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this, your Gemini September 2022 reading and forecast. Hi, I'm Nigel The Saint James. For those of you who are stopping by for the first time, and to the subscribers, much love always to you. As you know, I love to see you each month. Truly I do. Now, I've had the great pleasure of doing some personal one-on-one clairvoyant readings for a number of Geminis over the course of the last month, and if you would like to have a one-on-one experience with me, just check out the information that's in the description box below. Now, what the subscribers know also is that there are no advertisements breaking into the content here, so you get to see the video from beginning to end without it being cut in with the advertisement for a car or for bank loans or for drugs or something. Now, this deck is, look, I just don't know what it's called, this deck. My son and daughter were out shopping in a flea market some years ago and came across it without a box or papers or anything like that. And you might know what it is, and if you do, you might be good enough to let me know in the comments below. It has, I see in it, what's this one here for you? We're going to take 5 cards, incidentally. There's the 8 of Swords. Now, there's an I Ching hexagram. Now, fortunately, I know a bit about I Ching, so we can discuss what that hexagram means for you when we get to that card in the reading in just a second. There is the Ace of Stones. What a beautiful, beautiful picture. Let's see what this is. There is the 4 of Cups, another I Ching hexagram. That's interesting. I'm going to test my knowledge, I think. Oh, I think we'll be fine. As you know, we have good fun here, and we have great readings. I think you will enjoy it. There's another I Ching hexagram. There's the 4 of Wands, the 4 of Cups, and the 4 of Wands. Tremendous, tremendous thing for you. And finally, there is what? The 5 of Wands with an I Ching as well, as it just so happens. So, why don't you come now, sit down here next to me. We'll have a good close look at the imagery on these cards together while I do your reading for you. I think you can see those. A lot of I Ching here. But I want to start with this Ace of Stones in the West for you. Now, the art on here, I actually find it quite abstract, but nevertheless quite beautiful throughout this deck and in some of these cards, particularly these of yours, which we'll come to in just a second. Now, here we see an eagle landing on the rock, and that is the 2 fundamental realms joined, earth and sky, ordinary reality and spirit, feminine and masculine. The sky and the earth and the rainbow are beauty and gifts from the divine to us all. This has a lot of application to you this month, and I think people that will also be of interest to you include Taurus and Aries as well. You might find that they have something to do with you. Now, this is the root of the powers of the earth. I think what we see here for you is the beginning of something tangible, prosperity and growth, a sense of material well-being around you. I think there's also the possibility here of improving finances, and for somebody, a promotion or a pay rise. Certainly there's good luck, maybe even some unexpected money coming in from a small lottery win, even though I don't condone gambling as a general rule, but there will be with you at this time inner and outer richness, great success. Now, I'm using this card first because the other cards here do talk of some ups and downs as well, but this is a fundamental energy which is, as the ace, which is bursting across your entire reading, talking about success, unification of the body and soul, material and spirit, heaven and earth. Wholeness is what there is here. You'll have a deep well of grounded, practical, organizational ability, probably for the next year, I see. with this card placed as it is. Now this energy here mirrors your readiness to live a life that is inwardly and outwardly rich. All that is needed is already at hand. Give yourself up to the fullness of life and learn to use your wings. What areas of your life would you like to make richer? Work intensively on discovering and developing your potential, your inner wealth, and remain open for every form of enrichment in your life. And say this to yourself: wealth is my natural condition. It allows me to express my spirituality and creative potential in this world. I am in harmony with the flow of nature. Well, what we might do is go along the same horizontal line and deal with this Eight of Swords, entitled Interference. Well, maybe I can see what it is placed where it is here with this Wands card and this Wands card and this Cups beneath it. I'll get to that in just a second, because there's astrological energy coming in there, as well as the I Ching, which is discovered here. Now, if we look at the painting here, it seems that while the swords do not cut the trees appear as if they are ill, don't they? They symbolize nature in trouble and possibly a sick spirituality. But a bright light shines through here. A bright light shines down over the trees and the plants. Now, although I'm not one for titles on cards, this is entitled Interference. I do get the sense here of Jupiter ruling the first decan of Gemini, that 21st to the 31st of May, your sign. Now, Jupiter is the ruler of Sagittarius, and so on the zodiac wheel, it is 180 degrees away from its home in Sagittarius to make its way into your sign of Gemini. And there it is in detriment. So Jupiter is weakened, and the inquisitive nature of Gemini inhibits Jupiter. And a weakened Jupiter may mean that you can't get what you want due to too many, that's the Gemini aspect of it, distractions, which may or may not be self-created. And that's what I think may be intended by this title of Interference. What's how I read it in any event. Let's have a look at this I Ching, which is down here, a hexagram. Now they're called hexagrams because they are 6 lines, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The unbroken line is Yang, masculine principle. The broken lines are Yin, feminine principle, and they are read from the bottom up to the top and put together. They can often be read in pairs or in triplets, but here I'm going to read it as one together. Now this I Ching here I see as the thing which in Chinese is known as Shi Ho, which might roughly be translated as biting through. Now the action to be taken here is for you to find out things, to discover things through all of your senses, your feelings, your sight, using your mind. Now often we feel that life is unfair. However, if we look at the natural world, there is nothing resembling justice. Nature merely evens out its extremes or removes blockages to achieve balance. And this truth will eventually come to light in the situations that you now face during this period. You, of course, are a part of nature. If you have attached yourself to illusions of right and wrong that block your forward progress, then this Shi Ho, this biting through, will dispel the illusion. Now, unless growth is in the equation, life tends to reorganize by breaking things down. Ideas that foster separateness or boundaries blocking renewal or union need to be chewed over or presented through experience until the illusion is transformed into clarity. Now, there is also a sense here, perhaps, of living too much in the inner world, of being alone, spending too much time when you could be spending more time out in the community. This may well be a time for you to go out, to make your debut, as it were, whether or not you are ready. Now, you can create a false sense of reality and believe it is real. Obstruction as the hidden influence in this energy shows that any blockage will come down. And that finding out things or discernment, that is how the truth has to be given careful consideration, even if you'd rather not face it. The focus on these, there's an area in here known as mouth, but the focus on the mouth encourages clear communication. If there is something to be said, well, and if anybody can communicate things clearly, it's you. But if there is something to be said to another, then speak up. If it is real, it will endure, and truth spoken is the only cure. If you are expecting clarity from another, it might not be forthcoming. This is because they may feel that they are going to be too severely judged by you. Well, the best way to communicate during this time is to put personal agendas aside to truly understand the needs of the other person. Clarifying roles and boundaries might be in order, or you may need to simply be there for someone while they figure out their own confusion. Now, this biting through energy, if I can call it that, can lead to union, but you must have a willingness to listen. Now, this is not about sacrifice at all, however. The other party's needs and sense of purpose must align with your needs and sense of purpose. And often, when exploring another person's intentions, the answer shows unavailability because of an unchangeable truth or law that blocks the union. A prior commitment, such as marriage, or an incompatibility of age or lifestyle, can obstruct progress. The truth is more important than wishes when receiving this biting through energy. It is time for you to see the truth in this situation, and until you do so, your progress may be blocked. Open to the possibilities that can emerge after the truth is clearly recognized. Now let's have a look at the card that's in the center. We'll deal with these 4 and the 5 of Wands, which have come out in succession. And here we have mixed happiness. Again, that doesn't really mean a lot to me, but let's have a look at the image that's here in any event, otherwise known as the 4 of Cups. And what we have here is an autumn or fall scene, which appears sad and yet sweet, bittersweet, isn't it, as fall is. It describes the possibilities of growth for you from a situation that appears dark and heavy. Now, the hexagram that is pointed here, we've got yang, yin, 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 yang, yang. That is chun, which, roughly speaking, means difficult beginnings. Now, the action that is open to you to take at this time, and which you should do, is to simply persevere persevere. Now, just as a seedling must crack open and push through the soil and rocks to reach its source of solar energy and nourishment, all new endeavors encounter obstacles in the beginning stages. You are not alone in experiencing this. Now, this time calls for you to persevere into regeneration. Obstacles refine your sincerity about what you are doing, and they hone your inner vision. Now, the arrangement of the I Ching generally unfolds where each hexagram is viewed to be the cause or response of the preceding one, yet this one, Chun, is the result of two hexagrams, the creative and the receptive interacting with one another. Therefore, Chun embodies how opposite yet powerful energies give birth to something new. Now, this hexagram, I think, and the energy surrounding the card has a unique message for you where an unavoidable but difficult encounter, they must come together, such as in marriage. But where these difficult situations come together, very often the situation has never turned up before. It lacks the clarity that comes from experience, yet it still is very refreshing. It embodies the sense that the situation is meant to be, and its opposing qualities are what brought it to life in the first place. Now, this Chun energy can appear when a commitment is being considered, and the act of considering is what changed an easy attraction now into something difficult after you've thought about it. Like nature, which would remain stagnant without the necessary friction, this energy embodies perfectly how to embrace conflict as the driving force of evolution. Now, often we want to cast blame when we fail, don't we? But we always seem to take responsibility for our success. To succeed, you must recognize how life improves deficiencies by sharpening them into skills. Life has always been committed to your success, but going it alone is not an option here, because the dynamic of interdependency is central to this energy represented by Chun. Learn to see the teacher in those who challenge you. Eliminate defenses and preconceptions so that you can be lifted to a higher level. Now, the hidden influence in here describes the splitting apart of a past way of thinking. And I think also there is the need here for you to connect with your passion and purpose and persevere until you find a way to manifest your dream. Now, in this regard, Chun embodies the dream coming into existence. The path ahead of you now is new and promises wonderful transformational learning, regardless of the outcome. But this is telling you that the outcome is going to be successful. Well, we should look at both of these Wands cards now, and we'll do them in order, shall we? What's going on here? Okay. Perfection. Wow. Well, I guess take the titles when they're good, don't take them when they're not. Perfection. I will say this, though. This abstract art is really quite interesting. This looks to me like a hand offering a bubble. Now, you can see the hand, the wrist coming down through here. See that? And you can see the tips of the fingers down here. There. There also appears in the center of this bauble to be an eye. There is the top lid of the eye. And there is the bottom lid of the eye. It's dark. It runs across there. There is an eye looking out into this direction, going forward, I think, there for you. I think that this bubble indicates possibilities. Now, the spears pointing up and down are perfectly balanced energies for you. Now, looking at this hexagram here, that would be Chi, or Chi in the Chinese, not to be confused with Ching Ching, which means girlfriend or mistress. And roughly speaking, that means after completion. Now, the action here for you coming through is that of renewal. But that is something, is it not, that we have seen before. Equilibrium, of course, is the great foundation of life and harmony, its universal path. The message of this energy is that while the situation before you appears to be stable and in order, you need to plan for inevitable changes that will continue to occur when anything in nature achieves its highest expression or stability. It moves towards disorder and regeneration. That's really the second law of thermodynamics, I suppose. It may be that what you are inquiring about has reached a state of finality or completion. As this hexagram, I know it from other sources to also have been roughly translated as already across something. So you might not want to hear it, but there may have been a completion or a closure that you have missed. The hidden influence of before completion, that is coming through from, that's a hexagram that's before it, suggests that you examine where you are, but plan for the future. You may think that the situation is never going to change, but it is. You may think that you can rest on your laurels and enjoy things complacently, but you cannot. It is important that you understand that in nature, everything is in a state of renewal. While everything is in order and you can feel a sense of success or arrival, you are now being urged to remain cautious. Anything that reaches a climax will probably begin to move in the opposite direction. This is the way of life. And while the situation appears to be complete, a new goal or a need for further growth and expansion opportunities will ensure that it does not become stagnant. All things require care and attention to continue in a constant state of wellness. Now, something has crystallized, I think, and it may be time for you to embark upon a new direction. Now, here is a reel to finalize the card, a very abstract picture. Let's have a look at it. Also with an I Ching. Gee, you might be turning Chinese this month. Let's have a look. Well, what do I see here? Let's have a look at this. What is there here? Well, there is a stone column here. It starts down the bottom and it makes its way up through here, as you can see it. And then also you see the top of it up around here, also around there. It's rather phallic looking, this stone column. And this stuff here seems to me to resemble a brain, suggesting, I think, the human body. Now, the dark, chaotic column suggests a bloody history. But the arrangement of spears here, interestingly, is very hierarchical. This hexagram here, incidentally, that is Ko, and roughly speaking, it turns about malting. You know, when an animal molts its feathers or its fur. It also talks about revolution. And this is also about transformation going on here. So this is describing, I think, for you, and it will be the case, that there is a situation that has come to a point where a revolution in thinking or action has become necessary, really. If you can imagine a joyful lake with a fire burning beneath it, bringing the lake to a boiling point, well, it transforms in the same way that water can be vaporized. Well, at the same time, this energy is the image of how animals and reptiles shed their skin in cycles. There may be nothing familiar left about the situation after it goes through revolution. This energy suggests that sustained effort by itself is going to be futile because a complete transformation is necessary for a situation rather than just trying to keep banging your head against the wall. There is always some element of increased self-knowledge available when this energy is around. Molting or the changing of the skin or of the hide can show that you have conformed to a situation that did not tap who you really are. As you open to the transformation, you can make your debut into authenticity. Whatever worked in the past will no longer do, and you must open yourself up to deep and powerful change. Now, unhappiness is usually viewed as a negative feeling, but it is the heart sending messages about the need for change. Therefore, even while previous types of joy evaporate like rain, it does return, and there can be excited energy generated once you make the commitment to change. Now, in life, we don't always know what we want until we discover what we don't want. I have to tell you that I thought that was a really interesting reading for you then. I hope you enjoyed that as much as I did providing it to you. This is going to be a good month for you. I can see it here, and that's what it says for you now, so enjoy yourself. And of course, I'll then see you next month. And remember this though, until the next time I see you, that you are a legend, and I look forward to seeing you again next month. And until then, it's bye for now.